Welcome, everyone. For anyone who was here 5 minutes ago, you saw the best intro I've ever done in my life to a conference. So I hate to say this is just going to be subpar because I gave all of my energy and heart to the beginning one. Welcome, everyone, to Beauty from the Inside Out. I don't know about you, but this is the first time I'm out of a sweatshirt. So this is Beauty from the Outside In as well. We are here with two dear friends, Josh and Bobbi. And if you don't know these two, that's okay, because I have bios right in front of me that I will again present to you with amazing flourish. Bobbi Brown not only is a dear friend and one of my favorite humans, but an absolute titan of the beauty industry. She's not only a world-renowned makeup artist, but a best-selling author that when she, I guess, at number 5 books, she just thought, you know, let's keep going up to 9. So she has 9 best-selling books, New York Times bestsellers, which are, you know, obviously a huge feat. So she keeps going besides that and has become a serial entrepreneur. Not only has she launched her own line, Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, which she left in 2016, but she is now on to her latest endeavor, which is Evolution 18, which is a line of beauty-inspired wellness products. And Bobbi will tell us all where to get that, but you should try it because it's really amazing work. And we'll go into a little bit about the packaging of that as well, since it's a great story. A favorite of mine is called Chill, which is my from CBD, and it's from all natural hemp. Gummies are designed to promote an overall sense of calm, help the body manage everyday stress, and support mental and physical well-being. I am so excited to welcome Bobbi. Please give her the most wonderful virtual welcome you have. Emojis or comments, let them fly. We're watching the comments. Bobbi was actually my intro to Josh, and they have a long-time friendship and professional relationship, which we'll get into in a second. And Josh Geetter comes to us from Telluride, where he's a licensed acupuncturist and traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. He has a master's degree in Oriental medicine. And when Josh is not in clinical work, he's actually producing his own herbal medicines from the Chinese and Western schools of herbology. And oftentimes he grows or crafts the ingredients himself. I've only done this once, but if Bobbi is writing books, then he's a longtime mountaineer and an ex-alpine guide. And I hope you guys can see us. I see you're losing stuff, but I hope we're here. Well, keep going. In case we are, for those who can see us, power on 2020. Okay, Bobbi. For people who have seen us for the past 13 minutes, they've heard enough of my voice. So let's start with you. The title of this is Beauty from the Inside Out. So let's start with that. What does Beauty from the Inside Out mean to you?
Beauty from the Inside Out happens to be my 9th book, written honestly because I've always been someone incredibly curious, not just how you look with makeup, but realizing that it's how you feel that really does the most, change in how you look. So Beauty from the Inside Out, or putting the right foods in your body, the right ingredients. And one of those wellness ingredients happens to be CBD.
Yep. Tell us about Chill and the crafting of Chill.
Well, Evolution 18 is my wellness brand that is definitely an inside out. It's supplements to help you with a healthy diet. And Chill is the CBD gummy that I don't really understand why it works so well, but it really does. And people that try it keep telling me how addicted they are to it, even though that's not a good word to use with CBD. There's no THC in it, but it calms me down. It helps my nutty head, helps with anxiety. And I'm someone that likes edibles. I like to eat.
Yeah.
So it works for me.
A lot of your things are edibles. Were you always this way? Like, was meeting Josh part of it was your own education with what was the name of the where you got your certification?
In the IIN, Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
But was that something that you were already prone to? Like, is that you? I mean, it's funny for someone who's a makeup to really care about the inside.
Well, certainly someone in the beauty fashion industry always cared about how she looked. And I thought the secret was dieting your way to beauty. And, that was in the 80s when I became a makeup artist. And I realized that how I felt had more to do with how I looked. And I met Josh Geetter. I would say, Josh, is it 20 years? Which I lost Josh. So, all right.
But I can confirm it like that.
Yeah. But it's about 20 years. And every time I would go to Telluride, which is where I would always come Christmas time, I would have to kind of put myself back together. And Josh was a very well-known acupuncturist. There he is.
Hey, Josh.
So I got Josh. I got his expertise. I got to lay on that table with the most amazing acupuncture. And he would always, prescribe me these herbs that he would grow himself. Here's this like crazy Jewish guy from New York City who is a Chinese medicine doctor, brilliant guy. And he was the one that first, taught me about CBD. Because, what did I know? THC, I never liked THC, but he is the one that first turned me on to THC. And now full circle, his brand, Medicine Ranch, I think is the coolest, most modern thing. Someone is going to come in and say, that's the real deal. So I think he's got a gold mine there.
Well, the funny thing is when you talk to Josh and say modern, he'll laugh. And what do you say, Josh?
Well, often if people talk about traditional medicine, I'll say, oh, you mean, the old stuff. Or if they say alternative medicine, I'll say, oh, you mean, that modern, unfounded, like surgery and pharmaceuticals. Actually, I come from a long line of doctors and surgeons, so I have all respect. But Bobbi and I immediately connected on the idea of beauty from the inside out. We both had this and in philosophy of like diet, lifestyle, emotions, supplements, all this. And so Bobbi would come in for a session and I'd prescribe herbs and that sort of thing. And we just immediately met on that level. And then as the prohibition ended and CBD and the cannabinoids became available, it was just such a and addition to so that's part of my pharmacy right there. And
so beautiful
of Evolution 18 because it's taking her work to the next level, and especially with internal that in other areas.
Telluride, not wanting.
And I will
not wanting the message to get out.
And I will tell you what it feels like to lay on that table and smell the herbs and the oils, and for me it's a very healing thing. I mean, but comparing what Josh does to what I do, I'm very commercial. We have a direct to consumer. We're in Walmart. We're opening an Amazon store. Josh is like authentic. Like he's really authentic, and he's the real deal.
And how was crafting that message for the consumer? Was there a lot of, you're obviously someone who loves education yourself. Did you have to educate your consumer? Like thinking about who's here in this session right now, like these are obviously a lot of people who are talking to their consumers. Like, tell me about that.
Well, interesting. Luckily I have a very big social media profile, so I'm able to talk about it there. I'm able to talk about it on, panels like these and so forth. But when I launched Evolution 18, I did a visit to Walmart, and the women that were there, they didn't know me. They never heard of the makeup, half of them, and I had to really educate on this beauty from the inside out, where when I launched the 10 lipsticks at Bergdorf Goodman, it was a very different thing. So for me as, a product formulator, two different things. So yes, people need education about health and wellness. And honestly, I think with this pandemic, if you don't realize that your health is the most important thing you have, your beauty is because you're healthy. Like that's all I can tell you. Your beauty is because you're healthy. So I think it's a very interesting full circle what's happening in our world right now.
It's interesting, you know, at my women's brand, Pure Wow, self-care is such a, you know, phrase. And I kind of think it should be thrown out with the bathwater because there's something about it that sounds selfish to me, if that makes sense. Where this is a community effort. Like when you are taking care of yourself as a human, not only are you presenting your finest face, but you are a better, happier, more loving, more forgiving. I mean, I've also seen Josh just one time, and I can tell you that I was a nicer mommy that night. I was a nicer boss that next day. I think I hope I sent you flowers, Bobbi, for introducing us. Josh, we lost you for a minute there, but we were talking about education, you know, really healing yourself inside out and taking that time, but educating the consumer. A session with you is an education beyond anything. I definitely was, my eyes were open to a lot of things. Talk to us about how, and thinking about the people in the session, talking to their consumers, talk to us about how you get education out when you're talking about your products, when you're talking about healing inside out.
Well, one of the things, speaking to this audience who are professionals and producers and in the industry, one of the things that really hit last year at Luxury Meets Cannabis Conference was the fact that a lot of this stuff, we're just unearthing that which was previously known. And so we're bringing back that which Cleopatra and Genghis Khan and King Solomon and all of those like world-shaking individuals would have used as the imperial substances that were available in the known world. Okay, and so all we're doing is bringing back and bringing out into the public eye in the modern world that which were known as the things that would elevate the human through dress, through fashion and style, through jewelry, through aromas, cosmetics and beauty. And all of these things were meant to help to elevate our human potential. Really, it wasn't previously about looking hot or being stylish per se. Nothing wrong with that. But these were really things that were empowerments for us. But they're not known so much today. So for all of our industry colleagues at this time, I encourage people to look back into like the Silk Road, and Bobbi introduced me to Santa Maria de Novella. We were looking at them and like their history, right? And all of these things that go back into like monasteries and royalty. And this is Luxury Meets Cannabis. This is like where we're at. We're in the business of educating people into timeless treasures.
It's funny to be called alternative when it's timeless.
Right. It's
what are some misconceptions, Josh, that you've heard when talking about either cannabis or talking about CBD? What are some misconceptions that you've heard, and how do you come back to those?
Well, with cannabinoids in general, I feel like a lot of the gross level misconceptions are now being taken care of. I feel like we've really got a toehold in this country. And so we're starting to get away from basically like, is CBD a drug, or CBN or CBG? Even those are now becoming more known. We're coming down to some of the more
Telluride.
like how I
Don't stream your son's wedding, Bobbi.
No, I'm not going to.
Telluride, Josh is giving out too much good information. Telluride's just put it down on him. Bobbi, tell us about because you are such an design-oriented person, tell us about packaging your products. I think that's just such an interesting phenomenon. And I think it goes back to your kind of founder story and entrepreneurial spirit of like really believing the product. Tell everyone about how you started packaging Evolution 18.
Well, I started to think about what it could look like. And for me, look, I'm very high strung. People always think I'm very calm, but I have always a lot on my mind, a lot going on. And when I go to the Bahamas and I see the water, that turquoise blue, Caribbean blue water, it instantly calms me. I mean, it feels like I just, took CBD or whatever. So I knew I wanted that part of the packaging. And,
Yeah.
I wanted it indie, I wanted it cool, and I wanted people to know what they were buying.
Yeah.
Now there's a...
Josh, are we hearing you?
Yep.
Okay, so I've got, there's two sides to the line. One of them are is all blue, and the other, which we're calling the OGs, are more formula. So we have two separate lines in F18.
Josh, I think we're hearing ourselves back on yours. And Bobbi, how are you seeing, since you launched Evolution 18, how are you seeing this movement like continue? Like if you were to launch it today versus, how many years ago now, but like what's changed in your opinion?
Well, I think the biggest thing that has changed is that there's so much of it. There's so many new makeup lines out there, clean makeup lines. There's so many new wellness brands. Just like any industry, there's always oversaturation. So whoever is doing what they're doing has to be different to set themselves apart, has to have a reason and not just be, me too.
Yeah.
Or you too, I should say. And I do think that there's room always for better products, for new ideas, whether it's makeup or whether it's, clothes or whether it's, wellness. And look, there's right now, when I think of CBD, I almost think of when, some of these like trends in makeup come up and you see like, BB cream. All of a sudden you had BB cream and shampoos and BB cream. I think now CBD is going in every single thing. Like these clothes have CBD in them. So I think that things get a little crazy, and I like to go back to like simplicity. And I don't know if, CBD lipsticks really matter.
I still think you should do a CBD dog line.
I could use some CBD for my new puppy.
I mean,
yeah, there's a lot out there.
I know, but doesn't your take on it is the difference? Yeah, I think that's really interesting, especially for all the founders here. You think that like, oh shoot, X, Y, and Z is on the market. How am I going to best them or beat them? But it's all about how you portray your story too, right? I mean, it's all about the consumer not necessarily remembers it from somebody else, doesn't not necessarily know their value prop.
I always give founders advice, because if I was always looking over my shoulder of who was either knocking me off or doing something better, it would make you crazy. I always believe, stay in your lane, do what you do, make sure that you believe that you are doing the best job out there, know what's out there. But, first of all, there's room for other lines out there. There's room for other CBD out there. I'd love to try other gummies. Some I like better, some I don't. But I think it's a big marketplace. And I also think there's a lot of opportunity.
Yep. Josh, what are you're in Telluride. This has been an insane year. It's even crazier right now on the West Coast. What are you looking to or telling people to either ingest or imbibe or on their body? What are you looking for? What plant-based or product combinations are you thinking are essential these days?
Okay, well, obviously there's going to be immune tonics and antivirals are going to be the essentials these days. You guys can hear me? Okay,
yes.
Good. So obviously things which are immune tonics and antivirals. And because in our country, we still are not allowed to make patent medical claims on herbal therapies, we have to be careful about how we front this. But CBD and the other cannabinoids, by virtue of being anti-inflammatory, by virtue of being pain-killing, by virtue of calming the spirit, will all then support a healthy immune system. Louis Pasteur, the famous physician, he himself said, the bug is nothing. The terrain, our body's immunity, is everything. Okay? So in this year, one of the most important things we can do is to really take care of ourselves. The cannabinoids can be a very significant part of that support. Beyond that, within Oriental medicine, we have all sorts of antivirals within essential oils. And so this crosses over into a lot of the providers in the CBD. A lot of our colleagues who are watching right now will have a lot of these products in their lines. We just have to be careful how we discuss them.
And how should we not discuss them?
Well, you can't make a patent medical claim on any herb. So one of the first things to do is to paste your website and all your products with the FDA disclaimer. That disclaimer, this product is not intended to treat nor diagnose nor cure any Western biomedically defined disease. Another thing is to use the word support, and rather than make any medical claim, you can say it supports a healthy immune system. I think a lot of our colleagues may know this, but this is crucial because companies can get shut down.
Yeah. I mean, shut down also is like lose public support, right? Like, Bobbi, obviously, I'm sure you're seeing the same reports that I'm seeing, that people are buying with purpose right now, and they need to see the methodology or the purpose behind these brands. Do you think that the consumer is in a different level, either from 2020 alone, or do you think it's just a more educated consumer? Like, have you seen a consumer shift yourself?
Well, I do think that the consumer, wants more transparency and doesn't want all the marketing crap.
Yeah.
That we lived on, that all the products had. I think people want, authenticity. They want truthfulness, and they want to know what they're buying. And they also don't want to waste money. They want to know that what they're buying, they're getting their money's worth. Because, whether money is tight or you have enough money, you just want to feel good about what you're doing. And I think that
how do you guys do that?
Yeah, the younger consumer also, like my kids and their friends, the 30-year-old kids, they know they know everything. They are aware of what's going on, on a day-to-day basis. They know things instantly. So you have to be open and honest.
And are you doing that just in your own channels? Are you doing the site? Like, how are you doing that? Are you just making sure that you don't send something out to the consumer until you know all that? Like, personally, how do you?
Personally for me, especially now, I don't have, anyone who's telling me don't do this. It's basically Tara and myself, and we just talk to someone and talk to our customers as if we were talking to our best friends or our mothers. Yeah. And we just say, look, this is what it is. This is what it does. And, I think that, to me, that's authentic marketing.
There's a question from the audience, and then we'll wrap up. And I don't know if you guys know this, so you don't have to answer if this is out of your wheelhouse, but do you need to monitor customer reviews in the same way regarding medical claims?
I could probably take that. So one of the first things I would say is that the American Medical Association every 5 years does a survey it's called, if you look at the AMA's website, Trends in Consumer Spending for Medicine, for medical care. And for the past 4 cycles of 5 years, consumers have voted squarely with their discretionary dollars for what we've been joking about as alternative medicine, which I'm calling traditional medicine. So the consumers are already, it's a fait accompli, in my opinion. The consumers are already voting for this stuff, all right? And, but then in terms of any feedback with customers, you have to be careful. You have to be really careful. And I'll just say it, like Bobbi's saying, I'll just say it as if they were my friend or a customer walking into the shop. I'll say, quite frankly, I'm not allowed by FDA regulations to make a patent medical claim on this in the way that your question is asking me. Will this cure my arthritis? But I'll say, but I can tell you that there is hard science here, there, and the other place, direct them to it, and then say, I can also legally tell you that this will be very supportive for the rest of your arthritis program. How's that?
Has anyone invented a CBD mask?
Invented what?
A CBD mask?
Yeah, I don't think it relaxes wrinkles. I put it right on. No, there's
No, I mean like a COVID mask.
Oh, right. Yeah.
As we wrap up, and putting out all the good vibes to this community that is such a smart and educated community, to both of you, thinking about beauty from the inside out, what are the two things that you think are the most important? It could be a product to take, it could be a practice, it could be something you do yourself, it could be something that you recommend to your clients or consumers, but what are the two things that you think are the most paramount for that beauty from the inside out feeling? Josh, we'll start with you.
Well, Mary Kate, you mentioned that after your treatment that you felt you were nicer to your family and to your employees. So one of the first things I would say is that an internal shift towards just kindness and gratitude. Someone can be very physically beautiful, but if they're angry or upset, they're not looking pretty, right? So, but anything that can get us there, whether that's going to the Bahamas or whether that's receiving an acupuncture session or whether that's having dinner with friends and having a good belly laugh, right? So the psycho-emotional component, self-generated or externally generated, is one of the first things. And the second thing I would say is we all just have to breathe. We all have to breathe. So breath is life, and breath will calm the heart, and breath will oxygenate the organs, and breath will flesh out the skin with oxygen and beauty from the inside, breathing.
Do you do any special breathing exercises yourself, Josh?
Well, skiing and climbing are really good, but then, yes, I do yogic breathing techniques and that sort of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
It's fantastic. Those are two very good ideas there. Bobbi, what about you? Two ideas during these times, especially, and looking around the bend.
You know, for me, it's movement. I don't like to be stuck, and I've been walking more than ever, and I talk on the phone. I have, even like first time meetings, instead of Zooming, I do on the phone. So moving my body really helps. And one of my favorite quotes is, the best cosmetic for beauty is happiness. So honestly, people forget how important it is to pay attention to what makes you happy. And, for me, health is everything. So take care of yourself is right.
I mean, you look fantastic, Bobbi. Josh, where can people find you?
In Telluride. On Medicine Ranch, on his Instagram, Josh Geetter.
Through Bobbi.
Through me.
On our phones.
Yeah, exactly.
And Bobbi, where can people find Evolution 18? On Walmart now?
Walmart, and we're in Kohl's. We're on evolution18.com, and soon Amazon.
Amazing. Thank you all for coming. I apologize for the difficulties, but definitely worth the wait to talk to two very smart, giving, happy people, and hoping that everyone here leaves with a little bit more education, a little bit more inspiration for your own new ventures, and definitely a little bit of happiness from seeing two very fun people. All right, sending you all love. Thank you, Bobbi.
Thanks, Mary. Bye, Josh.